Hey, what's up everybody? Thank you for coming back and watching another one of my videos. This is what I like to call the juice, and it's where we'll just break down how my tournament went. And before we get into this one, let's talk about this awesome hat I've got on. It's from Yak Addicts. There'll be a link to all their stuff down in the description. Just a couple kayak guys got together making some cool hats and some awesome shirt designs. Go check them out and support them. They're one of us, and they got some pretty cool stuff too. So let's talk about the KBF National Championship. I don't really have a whole lot of juice for you. I mean, I got a little bit, but it was tough. It was tough for me. I was down there about a week ahead of time. Spent about 2 or 3 days on Bistano, thinking that I wanted to get away from the crowds on Caddo. I knew everybody was going to be over there. So I kind of went to Bistano thinking I could, get away from the crowds and maybe catch a decent limit the first couple days, and then maybe have a spot over on Caddo to maybe try and swing on some bigger fish. But didn't work out. It's just the way it goes. I got some clips I can show you from some of the fish I did catch. You can see how I was catching them. It was a tough tournament for me. I had a decent limit the first day. The first day I just kind of winged it. I went to Caddo, went to a place I'd never fished before. Just sight unseen. I knew about it. It worked out, and I should have gone there on day 2, but I actually went somewhere else, not really putting everything together. And, got a little spun out, so I ended up going back to the spot that I fished on day 1. It was about a 5-mile kick in the Hobie. Took me over an hour to do it. I was going right into some headwinds. But anyway, I made it to that spot, caught a couple fish, and missed about 6 or 7, maybe even 8 other bites. So that was a problem. You're not going to put up a limit missing 8 bites in a tournament. So, yeah, that's kind of how my tournament went, and I missed the cut. Sometimes it's just how it goes. I was talking about missing a bunch of bites. I want you to take a look at this. I'm going to throw this graphic up here, and this is a screenshot from my Lowrance unit. Something that I do, and I do this on Kentucky Lake. I do it on lots of big bodies of water where it's maybe not always obvious what you're fishing. But take a look at this graphic. I'm going to throw it up here. Take a look at this, and what you'll see is anywhere there's a blue X, I had a bite, and I missed it. Anywhere there's a green fish, I caught it. So what you can start doing if you start, oh man, I missed a bite, immediately go to your graph, double tap the flag if you're using a Lowrance, and make sure you're running the blue X or whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever you want. I use a blue X. That kind of lets me know, in my mind, that's my system. So I make a blue X for missed bites. But if you do that, you'll start seeing patterns. And what I started seeing over a couple of days was a lot of my bites were coming from a little cluster of trees. And so, that kind of clued me in. Hey, they're keying on something here. There's a lot of dead water, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of fish. So that really helped me narrow it down. So if you can get in the habit of doing that, I think that's a really good habit to get into. If you're fishing offshore, you're fishing a lot of water that looks the same. If you're fishing a main lake point, maybe that's not necessary. But for what I was doing, covering a lot of water, trying to find fish, I felt like that right there really, really helped out. So do yourself a favor and try that. We're out here on Lake Bistano in Louisiana. We are pre-fishing for the KBF National Championship, and it's Sunday, so it's my first day out here practicing a little bit. As you can see, I'm in the swamp. Caught one so far this morning, a little small, well, it wasn't really that small. It was short, but he had a decent belly on him. Caught him on spinnerbait. That's all I'm doing out here this morning is I'm just covering water, looking for some active fish, just trying to get a lay of the lake here. It's a big place, real big place. But I'm glad you're watching. We got a few days to spend down here. We're gonna try to put a pattern together and see what happens. Water temperature is about 66, so these fish ought to be moving up to the banks more and more every day. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Trying to catch them on moving baits first. I'm just throwing this 1/2 ounce white and gold War Eagle spinnerbait, and yeah, just trying to cover some water and see where fish are and see where they ain't. These fish ought to be moving up. It's going to be a good, fun spring shallow water bite. You know, it's tough. It's a 3-day tournament. You got to manage your fish well. You need to have multiple fish holding areas, and you need to not beat them up. You can't just come in here and you know, beat some of these spots up. The good thing is it's pre-spawn for the most part, from what I can tell. I'm sure there's beds somewhere, but for the most part, you know, it's pre-spawn. And you know, if you find some fish up shallow and you catch them, it's probably okay because that spot should reload. You know, there should be waves of fish moving up shallow all week. So if you can find a good area that's reloading, you know, that really could be key. So, you know, if you catch a fish in a spot, you know, don't be afraid to fish it a little bit. You don't want to kill it, but fish it a little bit, different times of the day, maybe different days, come back to it and check it. But, you know, work these areas and see if you can find the spots that they're reloading to. If you can find the spots that they're reloading to, you ought to be in good shape to at least get your limit and, you know, make the cut. That's the goal here, is to make the cut. Got to make the top 100 by Saturday, and then you know, anything can happen come Saturday. So the way my pre-fishing's going, I may not get another opportunity to hold up a good fish. So there's a decent little swamp fish. Happy to have it. Flipping a Cinco around cypress trees just like you're supposed to be doing, and finally ran into one. Nice healthy fish. All right, that's number 4. 17 and a half, nice fish. Same thing, same pattern, flipping the 1/8 ounce tungsten with a little Cinco on there, right at the base of these trees. Nice. You know, I do want to show you what I was using. I was pretty much a one-trick pony out there. I caught a few on a spinnerbait earlier in the week, but you know, I pretty much did what everybody else did. I had an 1/8 ounce piece of tungsten, Picasso tungsten, unpainted. I had a red glass bead, a 4/0 Mustad EWG hook, and a 5-inch Cinco, and that's on 18-pound Sunline fluorocarbon. Throwing the Gloomis NRX 854 bait caster with the Shimano Corrado. That's a 7.4 ratio reel. So that's what I was using. I mean, I was just throwing it up against the base of those cypress trees. And really my game, you know, listening to a lot of the guys talk, I kind of started putting the pattern together, but I was a little late on it. But a lot of the guys were saying they were soaking it. You know, they were really letting that worm sit there. That's something I wasn't doing, and I was getting a lot of short bites. So I think that really played a key. I was flipping fast. I mean, I was getting that worm in there, letting it hit the bottom, maybe a hop or two, and if something didn't pick it up, boom, I'm flipping to the back side of the tree or moving on down the bank, you know, looking for more trees. It's not much, but small upgrades, you know. I'll take it. After the pre-fishing that I had, I'll take. Another thing I was doing with that Cinco is I was applying JB's fish sauce. I'm telling you right now, this stuff works. I use the crawfish scent. That was the scent that I seem to like the best. But you just give it a couple sprays. It lasts for a long time. I reapply maybe every 30-45 minutes, the warmer the water. If it's cooler, it'll actually stick to the plastic a little bit longer. But it's awesome stuff. And I could tell about, once I reapplied, about every 3-4 casts right after I reapplied, I get a bite. So pick up some JB's fish sauce. I'm telling you guys, that stuff works. I had a great time. I mean, I had a fun pre-fishing week down there. Got a little spun out on the second day. I tried to go fish Caddo, and I got my truck stuck in the mud. Had to call a tow guy to come pull me out. There may or may not be a picture of it somewhere. But that kind of spun me out and kind of blew my whole day on my pre-fishing day for Caddo. So that didn't really work out. But, that's just the way it goes. I missed the cut, but I had a really, really good time. That's something, man. These tournaments, there's 460 guys there from literally every corner of this country. I mean, they're from everywhere. New York, Idaho, there's a guy from Idaho, big group from California, Utah, you name it, Maine, and everywhere in between. It's awesome. So if you're thinking about getting into kayak fishing, if you see me and all these other guys out here and girls, Christine Fisher, out there doing all this kayak stuff, and you just think, man, that looks awesome, come do it. Go get you a kayak. All these different states have local clubs. You can sign up for these national tournaments. The Hobie Bass Open Series is a great one. They got big tournaments. They have some smaller tournaments all over the country. I mean, there's one close to you, or at least somewhat close to you. But if you want to get involved, just go get yourself a kayak and find a local trail, or come fish one of these big ones. It's a blast. I'm telling you, the people are awesome. There's just nothing like it. But I could go on all day about that stuff. But just get you a kayak and get involved. And if you're wondering about anything that I used while I was fishing, my rods and reels, all that stuff is going to be down in the description. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, I got everything listed out there, so you can pilfer through that. But that's pretty much all I got. The next go around for me is going to be the Hobie Bass Open Series satellite event, April the 12th, down at the Harris Chain in Florida. So if you're around, if you can be down there, it's going to be a great tournament. It's a $100 entry fee. It's a one-day tournament, and the winner gets a paid entry to the Tournament of Champions. So that's kind of a big deal. That's their big end of the year, very hard to get into tournament. So you're going to want to qualify for that. So if you're around Leesburg, Florida, April the 12th, come fish the Hobie Bass Open Series. There'll be a link to all that Hobie stuff down in the description. But that's it. I'm out. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Like I said, if I can get to 1,000, I got this Yeti. I'm going to put all kinds of swag stuff in it, everything I got that I can possibly get in there. And I'm going to give that thing away to one of you guys just to say thank you. I appreciate all the support, all the feedback and everything I'm getting from you guys is all positive. So really appreciate it. Thank you. And we'll do it again here in just a few weeks.